Hello, I have here another LEGO Speed Champions 2-pack. It's 2 cars that come in one box, and this has a long name, so I'm just going to grab the box and read it. It is Aston Martin Valkyrie AMR Pro and Aston Martin Vantage GT3. Comes with 592 pieces, and I got it for its suggested retail price of $40 US. It's for kids 9 and up. That's the Valkyrie and that's the Vantage. Each comes with a minifigure. Let's look at the Vantage first. My overall impression of this one is positive. The build and construction was not too complex on this one. It wasn't one of the more interesting builds, one of the more interesting designs that I've come across in the Speed Champions line yet. But I can definitely see the source material here. I think it does a good job of capturing the look of the real car in LEGO form. I do not ever expect a Speed Champions car to look perfect, especially if they're trying to replicate a particularly curvy car, and so many cars that they take on are indeed curvy. You know, it takes some courage to take on some of the subject matter that they've gone with, and I think that generally the Speed Champions design team does a very good job, and this is no exception. Yes, this uses a ton of stickers, but I think that the stickers work out pretty well here. Partly because of the color scheme itself, which is a little bit difficult to go wrong with. However, there is one exception. It's especially noticeable here on the hood or bonnet stripe, the gray part. So the green is fine, but the gray is clearly darker. I mean, noticeably darker than LEGO's plastic color. So that's a little bit off, and I think could have been better. The gray for the canopy is not bad for a change. Also, the printing for the green stripe down there is not bad. These headlights are printed, so that's very good as well. You know, the piece that is new for 2022, well, the pieces, because they're mirrored from side to side. You got really nice depth here for the heat extractors. This one bugs me, this sticker right here. This one not so much just because it has so much coverage, but this one here is pretty dang obvious to me. This one was a little bit difficult to get lined up, but I think I did okay at it. You want to get those two side by side fairly close to one another. And around the back, this was probably my favorite part of the whole build, and it hides a nice little surprise in there with the Aston Martin logo printed on the side of that 1x2 plate right there. If I could get it to stay focused, yeah. The funny thing about that is, from some angles, you don't see it. You don't see it at all. And then it just shows up. It's like, oh, wow, that's cool. The shaping of the lights here, I think, is done pretty nicely. It's pretty advanced. It looks like I was a little bit off on one of these stickers here. It's just not quite right. It's too bad I had to choose to either try to keep the gaps between these relatively small or try to even out the gaps compared to the side. But that's not bad. Overall, around the side of the diffuser there, it's not bad. You can change the angle of the wing a little bit if you want to. That works well. And inside, of course, as usual, there's space for 2 individuals, 2 minifigures to be in there. Sticker down the middle. Just a regular, properly aligned, I will note, steering wheel off to the side, so it lines up with the driver appropriately. And yeah, if you want it to be right-hand drive, you can make it right-hand drive. But all in all, I think this car is pretty successful. They just need to continue to work on prints and, in this case, especially stickers. This does have, again, relatively pedestrian design relative to some of the fantastic and amazing and almost magical designs of some of the other recent Speed Champions vehicles. Speaking of which, this Valkyrie is not based on one of those large chassis pieces. This one is not simple and pedestrian. This one is completely built from the ground up, from basic parts, and it uses a completely unconventional design strategy overall. It is weird. It is really weird. You'll see more of what I mean as soon as I turn it upside down. But just look at this from some different angles. There's some interesting stuff going on here. And this shape around the side, I mean, the fact that that had to be completely sculpted in, it's pretty cool. Pretty dang cool. Now, let me turn it over and watch this. Watch this. Look at this. Look, what? The hinges. These parts are just hinged out on the sides. Got Technic holding stuff together. Like it is weird. It is so weird. I appreciate the use of the upside upside down building here with the tiles, and then using the corner tiles to shape that in right there. That is nice. I mean, the venting along the side is pretty dang cool. Pretty dang cool. Once again, printed headlights. The color match for the green on this is pretty good. Well, both greens. The dark green is a little bit undersaturated, but it's good enough. It's definitely close enough, in my opinion. Front splitter is really good. Got a couple stickers on that, but that works for me. The wheels, the wheel covers here are prints. Each one is a print. Very nice, although I will say that these wheels and tires look tiny. Absolutely tiny. They need to be much, much, much larger for this vehicle. Much larger. The wing is pretty good. Exhaust in there, done with the silver colored focus. Thank you. Silver colored candlesticks are nice. I like all the red accents. This is a relatively straightforward placement of the fin on this one, and a relatively straightforward single piece. It is pretty much just horizontal there, held in place in a relatively easy way. This is a new Canopy piece for 2022. Might be the most appropriate one that they have in the inventory right now, but it looks way too big, especially too long. It needs to be shorter because the proportions just end up looking really weird, especially because the seating position is so far back. And when you really look at this from the side, it becomes a little bit difficult to tell if it's a front engine car or rear engine car. I mean, you can see it from enough distance from where the back of the seat is, but too much of this is leaving too much space in the front. It looks like it could be a street Aston Martin. If you're not looking at the back too much, it looks like that's too much of a street Aston Martin or a Corvette or something in the front, you know? Looks more like a front-engined vehicle to me, and I really feel like the Canopy needs to move forward by a stud or so. It's the exact same issue. Oh, yeah. Oh, totally. It needs more of a cab-forward appearance like that. That does it. Yeah, it really does it. I experimented with that previously, previous to starting this video, but the more I look at it, the more correct that looks. That looks more like a mid-engine hypercar front end now. Yeah, so just a little bit off with those proportions. Inside here, surprisingly, they do still make room for two minifigures to squeeze in there. Got the long console print, and then the steering wheel is lined up appropriately. And that looks plush enough. It looks good enough. It looks right enough. And it all holds itself together. The most flimsy thing here is just this little assembly right here, because you have to angle it yourself. You want to angle it right to about there, but it can easily go out or be squished in just a little bit too much. Squish it in a little bit doesn't really hurt the look of the thing as much, but it's just a little bit inaccurate to not have enough gap in there. Overall, there's a lot of really good stuff going on here with this build, but as far as a representation of the Valkyrie itself, falls short in several key ways, at least to me. But look at this underside again. What the heck? Wow. Here are the two minifigures, and these are basically color swaps of one another. I think they both look quite good. Notice the metallic printing for the one on the right. Let's see. Yeah, not quite hitting just right. The light is. There we go. Now you can see how it shines. Yeah, compared to this one over here, we have none of that. I like the metallic printing, but I think I like this color scheme a little bit better myself. And these are appropriately printed around the back with similar level of detail there. Underneath, no alternate faces for either. However, they do include, as you already saw a little bit of a preview of, alternate hairpiece for that one and for this one. Thank you, Lego. Please let that be the standard from now on. Please let this be a permanent change. It's so good. It's so welcome. And we can never have too many hair pieces, you know, to choose between, especially as long as they keep coming out with different ones. They keep offering different ones, putting different ones in these sets as alternates to helmets and the like, rather than just having the most generic stuff like the hairpiece that you might see on some random minifig like that. Like let's not get a ton of that hairpiece out there. That's now presently off. Like we have enough of those, but yeah, different ones like this, I'm all about it. Here are the spare parts as usual. There's an extra set of wheel covers, and then there is one sticker sheet per car. A lot more stickers on the pure race car because it's based on a specific livery there. And Though this is a lot of stickers, it really didn't feel like there were too many. It didn't feel excessive for what level of detail they're trying to go for. And then this is the one for the Valkyrie, which again, didn't feel like too much for the subject matter, but still, that is a lot of stickers overall if you hate stickers. The price of $40 US for 2 cars feels completely mathematically normal because typically we pay $20 now for these 8-wide Speed Champions cars in single packs. So no problem with the value here. Again, I think that the Vantage, the gray one, looks quite good. Couldn't have been too much better. They need to work on their sticker backing. Canopy pieces, canopy printing needs to continue to be looked at. I think this one probably could have used an additional sticker on either side, but as it is, it's not bad. It's also a good basis for Aston Martin fans wanting to make one of their street cars. This amazing physical design, but doesn't look enough like the subject matter, at least in my opinion. They have a picture of it on the back. Yeah. You can see what they were going for, obviously. But, I mean, that thing looks so much farther forward. And look at the size of those wheels and tires. They're huge. Huge. So the color scheme really helps with this, and the graphics really help you to say, oh yeah, okay, I see what that's supposed to be. But the canopy really here is too far back. Way too far back. And the wheels and tires are way too tiny. Tried to fudge it up a little bit with the fenders, honestly, and it's not fooling me, that's for sure. So this one is fantastic. If you don't care about the subject matter, I think you will love this. Love it. If you care about the subject matter and you care about the accuracy, you might have a lot of problems with it. Just my personal opinions about it. So overall, this is not one of my favorites. It's probably my least favorite from the current line overall, although the Lotus was really messed up with the darn print on the side of the canopy, but its build was beautiful. Yeah, I am also partially biased by the fact that I'm not a big Aston Martin fan, but I still can appreciate cars overall. Still can very much appreciate both of these builds, and the value is absolutely there. This is even more car than usual, so if anything, the value is a little bit better than usual. Those are my thoughts overall. A little good, a little bad. Thank you for watching. I will bring you many more reviews to come, as well as continuing my work over onto the custom side of things and the city channel as soon as a given release season ends, which as of the time of the recording of this video right here is coming very soon. So stay tuned for more. Talk to you then. Bye.